racked up nearly $300,000 in salary as he sits behind bars. He's still getting paid. The reason is Major Hasan is an active duty member of the military. That's why we call him Major Hasan. And a jury has convicted him of a single solitary thing. That he says he's the shooter does not matter. You and I are paying him. Now some Republican lawmakers have introduced a bill to stop the cash flow, not just for Major Hasan, but for any service member charged with rape, sex assault, or capital offense. Now, I get it. Understand what they're thinking, because they look at this guy and they go, damn. Joining us now is criminal defense attorney Jeff Ifrah. He's a former judge advocate general at Jack. Sir, good to see you.
Good to see you.
The problem is not everybody who is charged with a crime committed a crime. Por ejemplo, what if someone says, that person raped me? That person raped me. We're going to trial. It's a he said, she said. And later they find out that never happened. And now this person hasn't been paid. You could lose your home. You could lose your car. I mean, you can't do that, can you?
Well, currently, you certainly can't do that. It's against the military procedures, and obviously that's going to offend a lot of people. And I understand the basis and the thrust of what the Republican lawmakers are sponsoring here. But I think that if they want to focus on righting a wrong, what they should really be focusing on here is the victims, and it's the victims who haven't been paid and don't qualify for any type of payment. And I would rather prefer to see, and I think most Americans would prefer to see, that the priority among Republican lawmakers and all lawmakers right now is to qualify those victims so that they are entitled to some sort of payment for their treatment, for their emotional distress, and for everything else. And I think that should be the priority. Look, in a month or two, this guy's going to be convicted, and once he's convicted, he's not going to be receiving any checks anymore.
You're referring to the fact that they did not consider this a combat deaths. If they were combat deaths under the rules of the military, the families would receive compensation.
Correct.
And so that's not how they classified it. They need to figure out another way to do that, you're saying. Here's another problem. If he wants it, whether what our viewers feel or how I feel or you feel about murder by government doesn't really matter. We're one of the few nations on the planet that still lets the government kill people for doing things wrong instead of just locking them up. But if what this guy wants to be is murdered by government, do we let him?
Well, you know, Shep, I don't really think that we've seen evidence that that's what he's trying to do. I know that's what the defense attorneys... I know that's what their defense attorneys are saying, but what has he really done? He hasn't questioned a few victims. What is he going to question them on? The fact that he shot them is not in dispute. The fact that they sustained injuries is not in dispute. What is it exactly his defense attorneys would do differently? I don't really know.
Yeah, frankly, I don't either. I mean, they've got enough evidence. But then every time I think about they have enough evidence, I remember Rockingham to Bundy. But there is a different situation here.
Well, there have been several individuals like Hasan who have murdered innocent civilians, and they have represented themselves successfully. And you know, here in Washington D.C. we have John Muhammad, who had, was put to death. He represented himself until he asked for assistance. Right now, Hasan is not asking for assistance, and I don't see any evidence that he needs assistance.
All right, Jeff Ifrah, former JAG. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.